How does a little girl from a country with almost no history in world tennis become someone the biggest names in the sport can't stop talking about? Because Alex Eala's story didn't begin at Wimbledon. It didn't begin in Miami. And it certainly didn't begin when millions of Filipinos suddenly discovered her. Long before center court rose to its feet, before Maria Sharapova called her a star.
I wanted to witness her win because I think she has such an amazing head on her shoulders and the game, and I think she has a voice and a platform that's going to, transcend the sport.
Before Novak Djokovic noticed the growing Filipino crowds, before the world learned her name, there was simply a little girl in Quezon City chasing a tennis ball with a dream that seemed almost impossible. This is the story of everything that happened before the Wimbledon heroics. Alexandra Maniego Eala was born on May 23, 2005, into a family where competition and discipline were already part of everyday life. Her mother, Rosemarie, had represented the Philippines as a national swimmer, while her father, Michael, built a successful career in business. Excellence wasn't something the family talked about. It was something they lived. But the person who first changed Alex's life wasn't a famous coach. It was her grandfather. Roberto Maniego placed a tennis racket in her hands when she was just 4 years old and became her very first coach. What started as simple afternoons on a tennis court soon became something much bigger. Even at that young age, Alex wasn't just playing for fun. She was fascinated by learning, improving, and finding ways to hit one more ball than everyone else. Talent appeared quickly. While most children her age were still discovering different hobbies, Alex was already competing. At just 8 years old, she won the under-8 division of the Little Mo International Tennis Grand Slam in Florida, earning her first international title. It was an early sign that this young girl from the Philippines could compete against the best players her age anywhere in the world. The victories kept coming: Croatia, France, Indonesia, tournament after tournament. Alex wasn't simply collecting trophies. She was collecting experience. By her early teens, she had climbed to the top of the Asian junior rankings and was making history in prestigious international events, proving that her success wasn't a lucky breakthrough. It was becoming a pattern, but every new achievement also brought a bigger question. How far could a young Filipino player really go? The answer wasn't waiting in the Philippines. It was more than 11,000 kilometers away. In Manacor, Spain, the Rafa Nadal Academy had become one of the most respected training centers in the world, producing players capable of competing at the highest level of professional tennis. For Alex, joining the academy meant access to world-class coaching and competition. It also meant leaving behind everything she had ever known: friends, school, family dinners, birthdays, the comfort of home. Most teenagers spend those years discovering who they are. Alex was preparing to build a career in one of the most demanding sports on the planet. It was a decision filled with excitement, but also uncertainty, because talent alone had never guaranteed success. And thousands of promising juniors before her had discovered just how difficult the journey from gifted teenager to professional champion could be. At just 13 years old, Alex left home. She thought she was leaving to become a better tennis player. She had no idea she was beginning the hardest chapter of her life. People often remember the victories. Very few remember everything that came before them. When Alex Eala arrived in Spain, she wasn't stepping into a glamorous new life. She was stepping into uncertainty. The Rafa Nadal Academy was home to some of the world's most promising young players. Every athlete there had already dominated in their own country. But Alex didn't move to Spain looking for comfort. She moved there because comfort was never going to make her a champion. Life at the academy quickly settled into a demanding routine. Long hours on court, fitness sessions, video analysis, schoolwork, then back to training again. The schedule repeated day after day, week after week. There were no shortcuts, no special treatment. Every player earned their place through discipline. The academy carried Rafael Nadal's philosophy in everything it did. Respect, humility, consistency, work harder than everyone else. Alex climbed higher through the junior rankings, proving that she wasn't simply adapting to Europe. She was becoming one of the best junior players in the world. In 2020, she captured her first junior Grand Slam title, winning the Australian Open Girls Doubles Championship. It was more than another trophy. It was proof that she could succeed on tennis's biggest stages. The following year brought another milestone. This time, it came on the red clay of Roland Garros. Alex claimed the French Open Girls Doubles title, adding another Grand Slam trophy to her growing collection and showing that her success wasn't limited to one surface or one fortunate tournament. By then, coaches and analysts were beginning to notice something different about the young Filipina. She wasn't relying on spectacular winners. She built points patiently. She competed with remarkable maturity. And perhaps most importantly, she never seemed intimidated by bigger names. Her confidence wasn't loud. It was quiet, the kind that comes from thousands of unseen hours of preparation. Then came 2022, New York, the US Open. This time, Alex wasn't chasing another doubles title. She wanted something much bigger, match after match. She fought her way through the draw. Then, in the girls' singles final, she defeated Lucy Havlicekova in straight sets to become the first Filipina ever to win a junior Grand Slam singles title. For many young players, that would have felt like the finish line. For Alex, it was only the beginning, because junior tennis and professional tennis are completely different worlds. Winning among teenagers earns attention. Winning against professionals earns respect. Soon after her junior success, Alex fully committed to life on the professional tour. The crowds became smaller, the prize money became less glamorous. The travel became exhausting. One week she might be competing in Spain, the next in Tunisia, then Thailand, then another unfamiliar city where hardly anyone recognized her name. Most of those tournaments weren't played inside famous stadiums. There were no television crews following every point, no packed crowds chanting her name. Those years weren't filled only with victories. She collected ITF titles and steadily improved her ranking, but progress was rarely straightforward. There were difficult defeats, unexpected early exits, weeks when nothing seemed to go right, and perhaps the hardest moments came at the Grand Slams. The tournaments every player dreams about. Again and again, Alex entered the qualifying draws. Again and again, she fell short. The Australian Open, Roland Garros, Wimbledon, the US Open. For a while, the biggest stages remained just out of reach. From the outside, some people wondered if the junior champion had reached her ceiling. Could she really compete with the world's best? Was junior success enough? History is full of exceptional junior players who never managed to make the same leap as professionals. Talent alone had never guaranteed greatness. Alex heard the questions. She saw the expectations. But she never allowed them to change her routine. She kept training. She kept traveling. She kept believing that eventually one opportunity would come. She just needed to be ready when it did. Some careers grow slowly. Alex Eala's exploded in just 2 unforgettable weeks. For years, she had quietly climbed the rankings, competing in small tournaments while remaining largely unknown outside the Philippines. Then came March 2025, the Miami Open. Ranked outside the world's top 100, Alex received a wild card into the main draw. It became the opportunity that changed her career forever. She stunned former French Open champion Jelena Ostapenko, then defeated Grand Slam champion Madison Keys. Suddenly, people started paying attention, but the biggest challenge was still waiting. World number 2 Iga Swiatek most expected Alex's dream run to end. Instead, she delivered the biggest victory of her career, defeating Swiatek in straight sets and becoming the first wildcard in WTA history to beat 3 Grand Slam champions in a single tournament. Although her run ended in the semifinals against Jessica Pegula, everything had changed. Alex became the first Filipino player to break into the WTA Top 100, and her matches suddenly attracted passionate Filipino crowds wherever she played. Even Novak Djokovic noticed the incredible support surrounding her. The breakthrough also brought pressure. Every opponent expected more. Every tournament became another test. Instead of chasing another miracle, Alex focused on improving her game and proving Miami wasn't a one-time story. She answered those doubts during the 2026 grass court season, defeating Elena Rybakina and Elina Svitolina to reach the Berlin Open semifinals. The question was no longer whether Alex Eala belonged among the world's best. It was how far she could go. And as Wimbledon approached, Alex wasn't chasing belief anymore. She was carrying the expectations of an entire nation. Part 4. When people remember Wimbledon, they remember the victories, the roaring center court crowd, the upset that shocked the tennis world. What they don't always remember is the person who made those moments possible. Long before Alex Eala became one of tennis's brightest young stars, she spent years becoming the person those moments demanded. And through it all, success never seemed to change her. After her biggest victories, she always thanked the people who helped her get there, her family, her coaches, her team. She never acted as though she had done it alone. Even as international attention grew, Alex stayed deeply connected to her roots. In interviews around the world, she often spoke directly to Filipino fans in Tagalog. For many supporters, those moments meant as much as the victories themselves, because they saw someone who had traveled across the world, yet never stopped being proudly Filipino. That connection became even stronger after Wimbledon. When Alex returned home, thousands of supporters came to welcome her. Children carried rackets, hoping for an autograph. Families waited for hours just to see her. It wasn't just admiration, it was gratitude. Gratitude for giving an entire nation someone to believe in. Alex greeted every fan with the same humility that had defined her journey from the beginning. Today, she is respected not only by fans, but also by champions, coaches, and analysts across the tennis world. That respect wasn't built through one remarkable tournament. It was earned through years of discipline, resilience, and constant improvement, and perhaps that's the most exciting part of her story. Alex Eala is still growing, still learning, still chasing even bigger dreams. The story we've told today isn't the ending. It's only the beginning, because rankings will change. Records will eventually be broken. But inspiration lasts far longer than statistics. Years from now, people may not remember every score from Miami or Wimbledon. What they will remember is how Alex Eala made them believe that greatness can begin anywhere, even with a young girl from Quezon City holding a racket for the very first time. Before the standing ovations, before center court, before history, before the Wimbledon heroics, there was simply Alex Eala, a young girl who left home with a racket, a dream, and the courage to believe that someone from the Philippines belonged on tennis's biggest stage. And perhaps that's why her story continues to resonate. Because extraordinary moments aren't created overnight. They're built quietly, long before the world is watching.